This Blueprint series video will be diving into a Steam Workshop plugin that I think is very useful, the filtered queue node created by Vyasu. This workshop item comes with two nodes, string filtered queue and update queue. We'll start with string filtered queue. This node comes with four data inputs. The first is a string, input text, which would be what you're wanting to filter by. The next is a boolean as to whether or not you want to use a global queue. As this notes, you can set this to yes to use the global queue that all string filtered queue nodes can use, which is helpful for synchronizing multiple queues across blueprints. Next, you have a string array for filters, which you can add as many as you need. And lastly, you have the string queue ID, which each queue will have its own unique ID in case it is not a global queue. Then you have one data output, which is output text, so whatever filter has been selected, this will be output. The other node, update queue, has only one string data input, queue to update. This chooses which queue you update based on the unique queue ID. Now you're probably wondering, in what situation might this be useful for? For me, I love making my VTuber dance. I have several dance redeems on stream, but quickly encountered the problem when setting up the dances that if one dance gets redeemed while another dance is currently happening, it would mess up the flow of the nodes. These nodes allow me to have a queue set up for my dances and redeems that I don't want to be interrupted by another. So I've made a setup similar to what you might have for your Twitch channel point redeem. So I start with the channel point redeem and the reward title will go into the input text. Then you'll have your filters of what your reward names will be. So for this example, I have wave 1 and wave 2. This is assuming that my reward title that comes through this node specifically will be wave 1 or wave 2. If another reward, for example, gets redeemed, because this node will trigger on all Twitch channel point redeems, if it is not one of the filters that you have submit, it will go to the default exit, which you just want it to be update queue, to make sure that your queue never gets halted. Now, if you were to redeem, for example, wave 1, the string filter queue would then, from the filters that you have here, output wave 1, and your switch on string will take the input of wave 1 and would execute specifically this line of nodes for wave 1. So for wave 1, I have my character just wave the arm for 2 seconds and then put it down. And then for wave 2, I have my character just wave her hand for 2 seconds and put it down. Post-recording Jay here. I forgot to mention the most important part in the original recording, that at the end of each of your lists of nodes coming out of the switch on string, you have to include the update queue node so that the filtered queue knows the blueprint has completed and can now execute the next item in the queue. This is just an example of what you could do with this node. Obviously for me, and maybe for you, you'll have a lot more filters and a lot more outputs for your switch on string, but this is just to give you an idea of what can be done. Obviously, there are other things outside of Twitch redeems that these nodes can be useful for, but that's the reason I'm using them for now. If this tutorial helped, make sure to leave a like and let me know what else you'd like covered in Warudo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye!